Hello. Last year, at the end of 2025, I planted an orchard, and I figured it's a nice day in mid-February, and it's time to give a small little tour just to see what I've done and how everything looks since I've planted everything. I'm going roughly the permaculture orchard route. Well, let's go on a little tour. This is the entrance of the orchard. It's 80 feet by roughly 80 feet. I've got 36 trees, fruit trees, and also nitrogen fixing trees planted. The spacing between the trees are 10 feet spacing in the rows, and the aisles are 12 feet apart. And I'll go down the row one by one, up and down, and tell you what's growing, what's been planted, and hopefully you will enjoy this little tour. I also planted some mother plants here, so hopefully I can propagate. I have some arborvitaes. This one happens to be an emerald green giant. No, just emerald green. This is a locust. The next one on the list is an Asian pear. This one right here is a Granny Smith apple. And you can probably see that there's some buds on there. It's still in the dormant phase, like most trees probably are at the moment, probably until sometime next week. In between the trees, there are some other plants that I transplanted. This one right here is rosemary. In case you're wondering how I know all this in the back of my head, I have a little map that I made. Let's see. There's a small little glance. The tree right next to it is an eastern redbud. Then I have a sad looking blueberry plant that looks like it's been nibbled on and eaten by the rabbits. But that's all right. If it doesn't survive, oh well. The next tree on the list is a Summer Crisp pear. It was a pretty tall tree when I bought it. I think it'll do fine. With any luck, maybe I'll get some fruit out of all these trees, especially this one. Next tree on the list in the aisle is a Wolf River apple. I don't know anything about this type of apple tree, but it sounded interesting, and after this tour, the fruit trees here will get a little pruning between now and the next time I give the next tour, which will probably be sometime in the spring. The next row starting on the next row here, we have a nectarine tree. It's called the Flavor Top. The next plant that we have is a blueberry. This one's looking a lot better than the last one. The next tree is not a fruit tree. It's a corkscrew willow. I got a couple of those trees. That's more or less my nitrogen fixing tree. It's going to be more of a chop and drop type of nitrogen fixing tree, but hopefully it will do its job. The next tree on the list is a Chinese chestnut. That one looks like it's got some buds on it. It's so far has survived the winter. The next tree on the list is another pear tree. It's an Asian pear, a husui, however you pronounced. Where are we here? However you pronounce that. That's an Asian pear. That's the Asian pear that we're currently looking at. The next tree on the list is another Eastern redbud, I believe. Yes, it is. I don't know if this one, like the other one, is going to survive. I got it from my backyard, but we'll see what happens. The next tree at the end of this row is a persimmon, American persimmon. And if we look in a little closer, I believe you can see that there's some buds on there. So that means it's still alive. The next row, the third row, we have another locust. The locust is, I believe, a skyline locust. I think honey locust might be another term for it. The next tree on the list is another apple tree. It's a gala apple. The next tree on down the line, this is a tree that I got from the clearance rack at one of the big box stores. It was in really sad shape, but I babied it all summer long last year, and it actually seems to be doing pretty well. My camera is not focusing the way I want it, but oh well. You can see a bud on there at the tip. I think that means it's doing pretty well at the moment. That means it's survived. It's relatively healthy. I don't know what's going to end up in the springtime, but we'll see in a couple months. The next thing on the list, this little let's see what we got here. Oh yeah, that last tree that we just saw, that's Yellow Delicious. And this next plant here is, let's see, that's a blueberry, another blueberry plant actually. Right next to it, we got a small globe arborvitae. And what this arborvitae is probably going to do, one, it's another one of the mother plants that I have, to where I'll eventually take some cuttings off of it and hopefully propagate some more to sell at a couple of the local farmers markets. But it'll also be protection for the birds and another place for them to perch, and also whatever else beneficial that'll attract. The next tree on the list is a plum tree. It's a Toka plum. See how it looks closer up. Looks like there's some tiny buds on there. Not opening up, not breaking yet, but it's looking pretty good for all practical purposes. And the last tree in this row is a Anjou pear. One thing about this orchard, it's only got a 4-foot fence around. It only has a 4-foot fence around the perimeter, around this 80 by 80 feet orchard. And so far, with all the deer that's been around here, no deer. There's no signs of deer. Even there's no deer tracks. They don't look like any deer had any thought to even jump in here. Even though I'm not naive, I know deer can jump over the fence. Between each of the fence posts, for those that are curious, I do have red ribbons between the middle of each, so that at least the deer have some way of knowing that the fence is right there. I don't have the ribbons tied on the top, so that way the deer don't actually know how high the fence is. But so far, the short fence has actually worked pretty well. Switching to the next aisle. This next tree on the little tour here. This is a Santa Rosa plum. And see how it's looking up close. I'm using my phone camera, so I don't have consistent focus, so just got to bear with this little tour. Where are we here? And it all looks pretty good for the most part. Then in between this fruit tree and the next tree is a corkscrew willow. In between that is another blueberry plant. If I don't get a lot of blueberries, at least it'll be food for the birds, and if there's more birds in here, then it'll help keep some of the pests under control, pest birds, insects under control. The next tree that we have on the list here is a cherry tree. It's a Stella cherry. Looking pretty good. The next tree on the list here is a peach tree. It's an Alberta peach. Give you a little close up on that. It's not the best of lighting that I have, even though I have full sun. Or maybe it's great lighting. I don't know. I'm outside and my screen's being washed out by the sun. And the next tree that's supposed to be coming up which I would be surprised if it made it, but should be an eastern redbud somewhere around here. Evidently, it was really, really small, and I don't know if it was going to survive or not, but we'll see probably in May or June how it survived. The last tree in this row is a persimmon, another American persimmon. I got a cage around here, so just to reduce the nibbling at the base at the trunk of the tree from rabbits and other rodents. I know they can climb up and in if they wanted to, but I don't have cages around all the trees just because it was difficult and I ran out of time before the snow hit. But it looks like most of the trees look pretty good without having that type of protection. The fifth row on this little tour Starts with another locust tree. It's another mini one. I don't know if it's like some of them. They were very small when I took them, but when I planted them. So maybe it survived, maybe it didn't. Well, I'll just have to see in a few months. The next tree in this row is another peach tree. It's a contender. Not looking too bad. I think there might be some rabbit damage or critter damage on some of these top branches here. Probably a rabbit damage. And I only say that because, well, I know I didn't cut the top of that, but if you can see that, it's possible that it might have been chewed on just because the snow in this orchard got probably tall enough to where the rabbits could get on their hind legs and chow down. But that's all right. The tree will grow more branches and maybe even fruit, who knows. The next tree on the list is a cherry tree. It's a Montmorency. The next tree on the list after the Montmorency is supposed to be a locust tree. It's another transplant from home. Hopefully it'll survive. If not, I'll find something else, some other nitrogen fixing or another locust to replace that. Next to that is another blueberry plant. And the next tree that we have here is a pawpaw. And the last tree in this row, right here, is another apple tree, and it is an Empire apple. And it's looking pretty happy. Looks like it's alive. It's got some buds on there. As you can see, this, along with some of the other fruit trees, are going to get a little pruning today. The last row on this first tour, hopefully not the last tour, is another. It starts with a pawpaw, another pawpaw that is, and then continuing down the line, we have another blueberry plant. And right next to that is my next nitrogen fixing, which is going to be more of a chop and drop situation, but it's a weeping willow. And the whole chop and drop function is just chop it and then drop the cuttings in between the rows, maybe shred them, and it'll add nitrogen to the soil. And as you feed the soil, you'll feed the plants. At least that's what I've been told. The next tree on the list, I don't know if it's actually going to survive. This, like the yellow transparent apple, was on clearance and saved, and I did a poor job last summer to keep it alive, to keep it well watered, and it might still be alive, but I don't have any real high hopes here. So that one might actually have to get replaced by the end of the year. The next tree on the list is an apricot tree. It's a Moore Park apricot tree, which looks pretty good. I don't know if it's gonna produce any apricots, but it does look like between new growth and some tiny buds, I do believe it's still alive. Coming down the line here, the next tree that's supposed to be around here, it was really small when I transplanted, which is a locust, but I might have to replace that. Between this locust that's evidently not here or dead, and the last tree in this row is another persimmon, is a rhubarb. I have rhubarb here on each side of the rhubarb. I have chives. I have that along next to a few of the other smaller shrubs that I have in this orchard. And in the corner here, I have another, hopefully, mother plant. This one is an emerald green arborvitae. It's looking pretty good. I think the birds will like that. Between the sides of the fence and the back of the fence, I did make sure to leave a reasonable distance between the trees and the fence line, just so that way whatever grows between the edges will help deter the deer from jumping over. And to give you another angle of how the whole orchard actually looks, the only tracks that you see that you're looking at are mine from this little tour. And that pretty much give you one last look at the little map here. Oh yeah, the method of planting for this orchard, I'm trying to, like I said at the beginning, I'm trying to use a permaculture method. The only thing that I kind of forgot to do, I don't know if it's going to be a good mistake or a bad mistake, but each row I was going to stagger every other row, so that way they're not all in line, and each tree would have more space to grow. But that's all right. And here's one last look at the map of the orchard. Maybe turn around so the sun gives me light. There you go. And that concludes the small little tour. I hope you enjoyed what you see or what you saw. And thank you for watching.